Hello, and welcome to the Transliteracy Project, created by Honest Accomplice Theater. I'm your host, Maybe Burke. Today we're going to kick off the Transliteracy Project video series with Trans 101, so we can lay a foundation before you move on to future episodes. And then if you do get confused during the later episodes, you can refer back to this one for a refresher. It's your education. Do what you want. In order to start talking about Trans 101, we need to explore some terms and topics around gender. Gender, sex, sexuality. 3 terms that are tossed around so often we begin to think they're the same thing, which they are so not. So being trans says nothing about your sexuality. You can be trans and a lesbian, you can be trans and straight, the list goes on.
Gender is between your ears.
Sex is between your legs.
So when you were born, you were assigned a sex, which may or may not match your gender identity. If someone's gender is not the same as the sex that they were assigned at birth, they'd probably identify as transgender or gender non-conforming. Some people know their identity for as long as they can remember, some people never think about it, and other folks come to know themselves later in life.
Let's recap. Gender is not defined by your biological body.
Bye, gender.
Bye.
Now that we've cleared that up, let's look for gender. Gender! Wait, did you find it? No? Neither did I, because it doesn't really exist. Take a deep breath. Gender is a construct, meaning that it's something society created in order to classify and segregate people. Gender has been used to tell people what roles they should play, how they should live their lives, how they should parent their children, etc., etc. It's such a successful construct that most of us aren't even aware of how much it surrounds us, and we readily buy into what it stands for and says. To make gender nice and tidy, a binary was created, meaning you had 2 options, man or woman. The binary refers to the idea that there are 2 separate poles, and one is totally masculine and the other is completely feminine, and people are only ever at the extremes of these poles. What's interesting is there's not one person out there who performs masculinity or femininity 100% correctly. Why? Because what is the universal definition of masculinity? Plaid shirt, bulging muscles, money, intelligence? What makes a woman anyway? What makes a man? And who decides who qualifies or not? We don't know. Why don't we know? Because gender is made up. Now here's the big reveal. Yes, the binary impacts trans people, but it also impacts people who aren't trans. What? The binary does not help anyone. So we're gonna talk about gender in more complex and interesting ways. And Cecilia is gonna help us out.
Gender is often explained as a spectrum. Meaning, there is a man over here and a woman in the opposite side. But there is space for people in between. And there is not a big pit you fall into if you step out of being a man or a woman.
Most people view a trans person as somebody who was put on one of the sides of the spectrum when they were born, but actually belongs on the other side. So if they were put at point A, they're now at point B, from a woman to a man, or a man to a woman. And that may be the case.
But again, so many people are put on point A, but they decide to move to point C, or to point D, or all sort of variations in the middle zone.
And some people might not be on the spectrum at all, and that's okay too.
And some people may be moving around the spectrum, or under the spectrum, or through the spectrum to entirely new places. Hey, some people don't remain in the same place for their entire lives, or even day to day.
And pretty soon, our spectrum is a flowing orb of gender awesomeness. Thanks for your help, Cecilia.
Thank you.